Welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Bjorn. Today we are going to be looking at a support action economy build that I've come up with here. But before I get into that, I'm going to mention that I have created a Discord. Link will be down in the description below. I've had a couple of people ask now. I figure that this will be the best way for me to communicate to people. A bit more easier because of YouTube doesn't allow you to make posts up until 1,000 subscribers, and even those, they don't really seem like things that you can address. I felt like I don't want to be making many videos. I'd rather be talking directly to people. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So with this character, it's very much like it says. It is a support action economy build. As we can see here, we went with the Order Domain Cleric to start, level 6. We then move into the Battlemaster Fighter of level 6, and then we finish off with the Divine Soul Sorcerer of level 8. I would recommend for the leveling order to 100% start off with the Cleric. This is going to give us our heavy armor proficiencies right away, as well as a few other unique abilities, especially since we're looking towards being more of a support character with this build. As for following up, I would recommend dumping all 6 levels into the Cleric right away, and then invest into the Fighter or the Sorcerer. Either one of these could be worthwhile investments. Some people have issues with multiclassing into Sorcerers beyond first level. The best way to work around this is to say something along the lines of either these Sorcerer abilities, they are in fact coming from your Order Domain Cleric, so you're not in fact a Sorcerer, but these are things that are granted to you through your Order Domain deity. That is one way to do it, or there's any number of ways that this Divine Soul could have awakened within you. You know, work it out with your DM, talk to them. Now, because of all these multi-classing, there is some heavy stat requirements. For the Cleric, we will require a Wisdom of 13, for the Sorcerer, a Charisma of 13, and for the Fighter, it will be a Strength or a Dexterity of 13. As for your dump stats, I'd recommend whichever one of these to you, between your Strength or Dexterity, to throw that into whatever dump stat. I preferred to go with a strength build with this way I can wear plate a bit more easier, and I can benefit off of that, and it feels a bit more right to me being an Order Domain, like strong, and like not just strong-willed or strong charisma and knowing your virtues, but also just physically strong. As for the 2 highest stat priorities, I'd recommend going Wisdom or Charisma, either one. The idea here is that we are, again, more of a support build. We're not looking to dish out all the damage, we're looking to help out other people dish out that damage. And these 2 being our spellcasting abilities, we want those to be maxed out. Now, as for the background of choice, this is of course up to you. Personally, whenever I play a support build, I like to pick something, say, like the Sage, for example, because the Sage will give us our Arcana and History, very useful, but also gives us this researcher ability that not only are we going to be able to support people within the mechanics, within the battle of the game, now within a role-playing aspect, say we have a whole bunch of barbarians, a whole bunch of fighters, a whole bunch of people that aren't filling up that role of somebody that can find out this information that your group may need for whatever your campaign demands. All of a sudden you can fill out that role. There's a lot of roleplay potential here, so this is just one suggestion. Now, as for the race of choice here, it doesn't particularly matter. Go with whatever suits your character, whatever you're feeling. Personally, I just went with the variant human here. This is just because this is, I recycled this character. But anyways, I've decided to invest 2 ability score increases, 1 into Charisma and 1 into Strength with this. And as well, we do gain a feat of choice. I've decided to go with Heavy Armor Master here. This is going to increase our Strength by another point. So our Strength currently is up to a 16, so a +3 modifier, and it's not going to change from there with this character, but I felt like that's a very nice place to be sitting at. Now let's go over some notable things here throughout the classes. So obviously with the Order Domain we gain some proficiencies. I've decided to go with Insight and Religion, befitting that Cleric kind of roleplay. And as well for bonus proficiency, we gain the Heavy Armor again, and as well I've chosen Intimidation here. As well at first level we do gain the Voice of Authority. This is the main thing that I really liked about this game. I've never cared about the Order Domain until I read this, and it's a level 1 ability, which is insane. So whenever we cast a spell of first level or higher, we will drive an ally to attack. They use their reaction to go ahead and make one weapon attack at a creature of our choice that we can see. Now, I would say this, is that a creature of our choice that we can see. Remember, they're not an NPC. You're not fully controlling them. Like, don't NPC them. That'd be so wrong. With this, I would recommend, if they have the option to go ahead and just hit whatever, that's fine. But however, it is worded in a way of something that we can see. So for example, if we can't see the invisible thing that they are fighting, however, they were able to make a perception check, say on the last roll, and hit, your dungeon master could rule here that they can't hit that target, so keep that in mind. That is something of how it is worded here that we have to remember going forward. At second level, we do gain the Channel Divinity of Order's Demand. This is a pretty neat ability. Essentially charms everyone, it calms them down. So, very nice feature. This does lend itself a little bit more towards that pacifist side of being able to control the masses, being able to calm people. I really like that. This isn't wholly fully a pacifist build though, because we are lending ourselves to allowing other people to kill people for us. At 4th level, we do gain our first ASI with the Cleric. I've decided to invest fully into getting my Wisdom up as soon as possible. Our Wisdom is going to be our main spellcasting for a little while here, because we will be going into Sorcerer at level 13 and beyond. We are going to get Destroy Undead at 5th level. This is only ever going to be 1/2 or lower for CR, so not very good, but there's going to be cases where you're going to be able to take a whole swaths of undead possible. And then finally, at 6th level, Order Domain Cleric, we gain the Embodiment of Law. So, with this ability, whenever we cast an Enhancement School spell of a spell slot of 1st or higher, we're going to be able to change that spell to a bonus action cast time instead of 1 action cast. So this is going to act very similar into how we are going to later gain our Sorcerer metamagic abilities, say with the Quicken spell. However, this is very selected and narrowed down into the Enhancement School, which is fine. We can still use other abilities to trigger our Voice of Authority ability here. Of course, with the Voice of Authority too, you can also go ahead and just cast Bless on a group of your friends. They're all going to go ahead and get that opportunity of attack. Alright, with the Order Domain Cleric out of the way, we've moved into the Battlemaster Fighter. At 1st level, we do gain a fighting style. I've decided to go with defense here. The more AC we have, the less chance of us getting hit. The less chance of us getting hit, the less damage we take. The less spells we need to invest in on ourselves, the more we can invest in on our party. We also gain Second Wind, a pretty nice feature. Action Surge, this is the main reason why we've came into the Fighter, not just because of it benefiting the Fighter abilities. However, it will also benefit our Cleric and our Sorcerer abilities, because how Action Surge works, it gives us a new action. So whenever we use this, again, it's going to be once per short rest in our case, we're going to be able to say, for example, we will be able to use our Embodiment of Law. We'll be able to take an enhancement spell, bump it down to a bonus action level. Therefore, we are going to have first level spell, say, for example, first level spell bonus action, first level spell main action, then we can action surge and gain another action to cast yet another spell. So a very action economy friendly healer, support character. There's a lot of things that we can do with those 3 spells that will only be added on once we gain the Sorcerer. So keeping that in mind, once we come down to 3rd level, we do gain the Battlemaster archetype. This is an amazing archetype to go with this build. For your maneuvers, I'd recommend going with Commander Strike, Distracting Strike, and Maneuvering Attack. Each of them has such amazing value to be had. Commander Strike is going to be very useful for once you get your extra attack, because now we're going to be able to expend a maneuver and see an direct one of our allies that are close to us that we don't need to be within range of touch or to cast heroism. We can save spell slots now, and we can allow them to make their attacks and save those spell slots for something more valuable. Maybe we want to save it for healing or something else. You know, there's plenty of things that we can save it for. So Commander Strike, very useful. Distracting Strike is going to be amazing. Essentially, with this, we're going to be able to give one of our allies or ourselves advantage on the next hit after we've used this maneuver. I'd recommend giving advantage onto another party member. Again, we aren't focusing on too much of our own damage potential. We're focusing on our group's damage potential. So that Barbarian, that Rogue, the Barbarian has huge brutal criticals by this level. Rogue, they'll have sneak attacks. So there's all sorts of crazy stuff that they're going to be able to do. And Maneuvering Attack is extraordinarily useful as just an overall support role, because with this, like, say we have a wizard, somebody's starting to surround that wizard, there's like 2 or 3 people on them. If they don't disengage, they're going to take all those opportunity of attacks. But, you know, maybe they realize that you're here, so you're going to be able to use this and get them out of that position, because with this, you can, their reaction, you can move them up to half of their half of their movement speed, which is extraordinarily useful. Getting them out of dodge, getting them out of danger, this is a beautiful, beautiful maneuver to have. As well, at 3rd level, we do gain Student of War. I normally don't go over this one. However, since we are a support build, I recommend looking at taking the Alchemist supplies. This way you're going to be able to make potions, hand them out before battle. This is something you can do on your off time, more role-playing outside of combat. This is very, very useful for your group overall. 4th level, we do gain another ASI. Again, I'm looking at focusing on getting my wisdom up all the way. With this, I've maxed out my wisdom. At 5th level, we do gain extra attack. This is the only extra attack that we will be gaining, and it's still very, very useful for us because we can use our maneuvers with these extra attacks, interweave maneuvers. And then for our final ASI from the fighter, I've decided to go ahead and bump it into Charisma. Now my Charisma is maxed as well. Thankfully, I didn't roll all too bad. Again, best of luck. Alright, now that we're coming out of the fighter, we can go ahead and invest into our Sorcerer. So with this, we are only going to be getting one new thing at 1st level with the Sorcerer. It's favored by the gods. This is very useful in the fact that we can possibly save ourselves from a lot of damage. Essentially, when we fail a saving throw or miss with an attack roll, we can roll 2d4 and possibly change the outcome. I again would recommend saving this for a saving throw. At this level, there's a lot of things, a lot of damage that you could be taking that you would rather avoid, and this can save your ass. And then as for your meta magic options coming down the 3rd level, I'd recommend taking Quicken Spell and Twin Spell. These are going to synergize extraordinarily well with both with everything here, especially Twin Spell. Normally I don't take Twin Spell, but I really, really liked it for this build. Now, as for the 4th SI, because I have maxed out my spell casting of abilities with Wisdom and Charisma, I've decided to go with Warcaster here. Maintaining concentration advantage. This is amazing. As well, we can have a weapon and shield in one hand, so this makes us even more tankier, take less damage. It's awesome. At 6th level Sorcerer, we do gain Empowered Healing. Pretty neat. We can expend a sorcery point to reroll a die that we want to reroll on a healing, or on somebody else's healing, so this is pretty nice. However, I'm not so sure how nice it is, because I feel that with our meta magic options, with our Twin Spell, again, I'll be getting into that later, we might be able to just do more raw output healing or other abilities, expending our sorcery points through our meta magic options, as opposed to using our sorcery points for this. However, this is, a shot calling thing. This is something where you have to determine, is it worth for me to expend sorcery points on this, or should I save it for this character? You have to put some thought into what you're doing. For our final ASI, I've decided to go with Resilient Constitution, helping our saving throws, giving us more health. Alright, so how does this class synergize? We've already went over a little bit with the Fighter and the Cleric. So for example, with all of these different abilities, we'll just extend all of these things here. We know with our Embodiment of Law, we are going to be able to change one of our enhancements, spell casting spell slots at 1st level or higher to a bonus action. So all of a sudden, we'll have a bonus action spell of an enhancement to cast, and then we'll have an action to cast something else if we so choose. It doesn't need to be enhancement, it can be anything else beyond that point, but our bonus action that we will be casting is an enhancement spell. For that bonus action, what we can do to improve it, we can use our Twin Spell on our bonus action. So for example, if we come up to 2 of our players, this is going to require obviously some group coordination. By this level, there should be group coordination if you want to be killing mobs efficiently. And essentially, we're going to come up behind our 2 friendly allies. We're going to grab them both by the shoulder, cast Heroism. All of a sudden, we're concentrating on holding that Heroism. We can do that, apparently. I've looked it up. I haven't heard anywhere saying that we can't. So all of a sudden, we have a concentration of 2 Heroisms up, which is very, very nice. And say we're already in combat, those people can go ahead and use the reactions to attack. So now what we have another action that we can go ahead and either attack and use maneuvers with, or we can go ahead and cast, say, Cure Wounds, or like one of those Healing Touch. Sorry, I can't remember. I've been playing a little bit of World of Warcraft lately. I'm mixing up my spells here. And we can go ahead and use another Twin Spells and then go to another 2 people and possibly heal those 2 or put Heroism on again if you really want. But essentially then those other 2 people that we've now casted on, they can go ahead and gain the benefits of use their reaction to attack. So very nice. And then if we really, really fucking want, we can go ahead and Action Surge, and then from Action Surge we can do either some more spells, get more people some healing, some more buffs, some more whatever. This is all very situational, very much depends what's needed at the time. Or we can go ahead and go into our fighter abilities, use some maneuvers. We could commander strike somebody, distracting strike. We can use maneuvering attack. There's many different things that we can do with this character. There's any number of possible combinations here. It's situational. Either you're fully outputting damage or you're fully outputting healing, and your group, your teammates, they're using their reactions to attack. There's a lot of different things that can be happening here, and that's where this support build comes in. We're not focusing on so much of what we are capable as outputting damage. We're focusing on what our barbarian can do, what our rogue can do, what these other people that have been focusing on pure damage output, that they can do better than we. Now, as for some spell recommendations, I would quickly go over this. Guidance is very useful. You know, all of these healing words, blah 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 blah. You know, take whatever you feel is necessary for the fight at hand. Sorcerer, do remember that you can only change out sorcerer spells as you level. I believe I'm correct with that. So the cleric one you can change at night, but with the sorcerer ones, be particular with the ones that you pick, because I'm fairly certain you can only change them when you level. Of course, the added benefit of going with the sorcerer is that we do gain counterspell, we do gain shield, so some unique spells that we otherwise wouldn't have had, some self-protection, some annoyances for the dungeon master to deal with counterspells, so very useful spells. That's pretty much it with this character build. It's pretty, I'm not going to say straightforward, because it can be a bit complicated. It really depends on your game sense, your game knowledge about predicting what's going to be needed, because if you expend all these spells too soon, all of a sudden you're not going to have healing capabilities for later. You're not going to have all these other things for later. If you use your maneuvers too soon, maybe you should have saved a maneuver for your wizard or your warlock, someone a bit more squishier, to get them out of dodge. If you just go balls to the wall again, be out of spell slots, be out of everything, it's like anything. It's going to be a bit of a drain. It's going to be a bit slow. It's not going to be as fun. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I've enjoyed. I'm looking forward to playing this character. And yeah, again, I have a Discord. I'll put a link down below. We'll see how well that goes. And yeah, thank you very much for all the new people who have subscribed. I'm looking forward to breaking 30 here. But yeah, no, this is going pretty well. And thank you also very much for the lovely comments that I've received and the support. And I really hope all of you have a lovely day. And you know, I guess I'll do this again. Please consider subscribing, liking, leaving a comment. Let me know how you feel, and have a good one. Bye bye.